So now that you've created all your subclips, I'm going to show you how to import a couple of other types of media into Premiere. Go ahead and download the Theft Unexpected graphics folder and then the stills folder that's linked on Haiku. And open up Finder and go ahead and organize those into the places that they need to be. So I'm going to take that Theft Unexpected graphics folder and put it into my graphics folder in Lesson 1. And then the stills folder I'm going to put into my media folder. Okay, once you have those organized, come back into Premiere and we're just going to do a normal import on these. Right? We're not going to use the media browser. That's only for stuff coming off the camera. We're just going to do a regular import. So go up to File, Import, or the shortcut for that is Command I. And I'm going to navigate to my graphics folder. Now there are several different kinds of graphics in here. Each one is going to behave in a different way depending on its file type. So I've got a PNG, a couple PSDs, and an Illustrator file. I'm going to start with the PNG and click Import. Okay, and that's just a simple logo file in a terrible font, mind you, but just a simple logo file. It didn't give me any other options. I'm going to go up to File, Import again, and this time I'm going to import Theft Unexpected Layered.psd. When you import this file, because it's a Photoshop file, it's going to give you a couple of other options because this file has multiple layers to it. So when I import that, it's going to give me a few options. I can either click Merge All Layers, only import merged layers, import individual layers, or import as a sequence. Photoshop image editing works in different layers the same way that we have different layers on our timeline in Premiere. Each of these actions, depending on which one you choose, is going to import that file in a different way. So if I select Merge All Layers, it'll merge all the layers into one, importing the file into Premiere Pro as a single flattened clip. So if you just want all the layers in Photoshop merged into a single image like our PNG, this is the one you want to select. If you select Merge Layers, this option merges only the specific layers that you select into a flattened clip. So if I select Merge Layers, I can then choose with these checkboxes which layers I want to import, and it'll merge those into a single picture. If I select Individual Layers, this option imports only the specific layers that you select, with each layer becoming a separate clip in the bin. So if I do Individual Layers and I check each of these are going to import separately as their own clips in the project window. And if I select Sequence, this option imports only the layers that you select, but it'll create them as a sequence, so you'll actually be able to see each layer on tracks. So for this exercise, Sequence is the one that we are going to select. So go ahead and click on that drop down and click on Sequence. And the only two layers that we want to import are the Theft Unexpected text and the strokes. So make sure none of these other options are checked. Right? Only these two options should be checked. And click OK. And then as you can see, instead of importing as a clip, it imported that into a bin here, this folder. When I open that up, I'll see I've got each of the layers that we imported and I have a new sequence. If you double click on that sequence, it'll open up and you can see I've got our two layers here represented on different tracks to create a combined image. If I turn off the stroke, it's just the text. If I turn off the text, it's just the stroke. The next kind of file I want you to import, so go back to File, Import. We're going to import the Illustrator file. So go ahead and click on BrightLoveFilmLogo.ai. That's the Illustrator file, and click Import. Okay, and that will just import as a regular clip as well. If you're familiar with Illustrator, it also works in layers, but Premiere doesn't handle those layers separately. It always combines them into a single layer. But it is still a vectorized image, which means that you can increase and decrease the size of it without it degrading in quality. Next thing I want you to import is that stills folder. So again, File, Import, and we're going to go ahead and navigate back to that in our media folder. Now, instead of going in and individually importing each of these files, it's easier and faster if you just click on that stills folder, and without going any deeper, click import. It'll import that folder and everything in it as its own bin. So just click import on stills, and now you can see here it's created a bin, and in that bin I still have the whole folder structure and subfolders of each of the images in the right folder. So that's how Premiere handles a couple of different types of media when you import them into the program. I definitely wanted to point out how it handles Photoshop files in case you guys want to use Photoshop to create titles or anything for your films. One of the nicest things about Premiere is that it really works well together with anything in the Adobe suite, and it's great that when you create something in Photoshop and import it into Premiere, it will keep those layers as part of the file. So I definitely encourage you to play in Photoshop to create your titles. It's a lot more powerful than Premiere is, and it really is the industry standard for graphics. So if you are interested in Photoshop, I can point some tutorials out to you. We're not going to be talking about it in this class, but I know the program decently well. In the next video, we're going to be talking more about the project panel.